What's up, world? What's up, world? Let me tell you about this beard growth oil I got from 12 tribes on Earth. 8 ounces of oily goodness with a nozzle that prevents sprays and spills, and soft ingredients that make it perfect addition to anyone's morning routine. From coconut to castor, all these oils are hand chosen. After using this herbal blend, the biggest thing I noticed is how soft, how strong my hair was, and how good I feel. Pick up your bottle today and make your beard the star of the show.
Shalom, family. Good to see you all here. Hope you're doing well. Well, as you may know, the government shutdown is still going on, and it's impacting Homeland Security because of ICE raids. They don't want to fund them. So they're not getting paid. So the TSA agents, because they're part of Homeland Security, they're not getting paid. So they are now having sickouts across the country. And the lines at the airport are absolutely ridiculous. For real, family, if you don't have to travel anywhere, don't go anywhere, especially if you have to use the airport, because people are in line, and you'll hear it in the video, for several hours. Several hours. There ain't no way. It is absolutely crazy. So it does not, and they're admitting there is right now no end to this government shutdown. So they expect this one to really, truly be a long one. So they have no anticipation that it's going to end anytime soon. And that's really unfortunate, because that means all of these people that work under that agency will not be getting paid. But of course, you know, the people that run it and the administration, they'll still get their paychecks. But if you work for ICE or any of the Homeland Security agencies, forget it. I feel bad for you. It ain't no joke going long periods of time with no pay, especially out here. Well, the TSA agents, Pensacola, they are not working for free. That's why they're calling out, and they are leaving these airports in disarray. But, you know, the people that are traveling probably have no idea this was going to occur at the airport. So, wow. All right, let me go ahead and share my screen. All right. Please give me a 1 if you can see my screen. Thank you.
There are some big delays at some major U.S. airports as the partial government shutdown causes chaos for spring break travelers. For the second time in 6 months, TSA officers are being forced to work without pay, prompting more agents to call out sick. ABC's Rena Roy has more.
Monday morning in Houston's Hobby Airport is already bustling. Passengers, many traveling for spring break, once again facing long lines at security screenings.
One line right here.
And over the weekend at Hobby,
There's a lot of frustration.
Travelers waiting an average of about 2 hours at the standard TSA security checkpoint.
We got here at 10 a.m. My flight was departing at 1:50, and we're not going to make that here.
At Louis Armstrong International Airport in New Orleans, lines reaching as far back as the parking garage. The partial government shutdown impacting the Department of Homeland Security. For the third time in 5 months, TSA officers not getting their paychecks, many of them now calling out.
Guy said to me, heads up, it's a mess down there. And man, he was right.
Airlines for America, which represents major carriers in the U.S., slamming Congress, saying in a a statement, the shutdown is having very real consequences, and hardworking federal aviation workers, the airline industry, and our passengers are being used as a political football once again.
They're doing their job, and they're not getting paid. It's not just unfair, it's reckless.
The Department of Homeland Security is blaming Democrats in Congress, saying this is a direct result of their refusal to fund DHS. Democrats say that they want to see some major reform to the agency before they vote to end this shutdown. Stephanie?
This is not what flyers hope to see arriving at the New Orleans airport Monday morning. Only some TSA lines open due to staffing shortages stemming from soaring sick calls. The line snaking its way through the terminal for a second straight day. Sunday, people were in line for hours, stretching out into the parking garage.
I was here 3 weeks ago during Mardi Gras, and it was no problem. This is insane.
I had to change my flight, so rather than a 3 p.m. flight, it is now a 8 p.m. flight.
At Houston's Hobby Airport, wait times topped 3 hours Sunday, and by Monday, the line was still at least 2 hours long just to get to security.
We have missed both our flights.
Now, some airports are telling flyers to get here at least 3 hours before their flights. This surge in wait times comes as the airlines are preparing to fly 171 million people for spring break, and as a partial government shutdown over the Trump administration's immigration policies enters its fourth week. The second prolonged government shutdown since October is taking a toll on some of the government's lowest paid workers. The more than 50,000 TSA officers on the job will miss a full paycheck this week and have no idea when the next one will come, driving the spike in sick calls.
We don't need a promise of a paycheck. We need a paycheck. We can't go to the bank with a promise.
With a political stalemate continuing in Washington, a trip to the airport means a flight of uncertainty at airports nationwide. Chris Van Cleve, CBS News, Phoenix. The word of the day for flyers is now uncertainty. Uncertainty about what you're going to find when you get to the airport checkpoint. In some cases, you're going to be there for quite a while. Why is this happening? This week, TSA officers are missing a paycheck because of the ongoing partial government shutdown, and they don't know when they'll be paid again. That's resulting in increased sick calls, and that means wait times that can get very long at some airports. Take a look at this video from Houston Hobby Airport yesterday. People waited 3 hours or more at points there. It's a 2-hour wait again this morning. And then at the New Orleans airport Sunday morning, people found the line for security winding through the terminal and into the parking garage.
We have missed both our flights. We were waiting in TSA just to get to security for 4 hours.
Several airports saw very long wait times and now are warning flyers to arrive at least 3 hours early. TSA and much of the Department of Homeland Security are not funded because of a stalemate between congressional Democrats and the White House over immigration enforcement. For tens of thousands of frontline DHS workers, this is their second prolonged shutdown going without pay since October. What we've seen in past shutdowns, once that first full paycheck is missed, sick calls increase, delays, and then lines also will grow. The question becomes, where will they happen? How bad will they be? And frankly, that can change by the airport, by the day, even by the shift, Adriana.
Travelers across the country facing massive delays as the Department of Homeland Security shutdown impacts TSA staffing. Phil LeBeau is here with that story. Good morning, Phil.
Mike, have you seen the videos? Because if you have, you're looking at them this morning saying, what? People are waiting several hours to get through TSA security? That is the case in different places around the country. We saw this video from yesterday. This is New Orleans. That is a parking lot. That is people waiting to get through security stretched out into the parking lot. And we saw long lines at Houston, a few other airports around the country. Atlanta also had long lines. It's not across the board, but where it's happening, people are saying it is ridiculous. So here's where things stand in terms of lack of TSA staffing causing delays. It depends on the airport. Some airports are fine. Yesterday, I flew out of O'Hare, no issues at all. Other people I know were flying out of Newark. They had long lines. Several hour waits are possible. And we're not exaggerating when we say several hours. Houston Hobby on social media was telling people, get to the airport 1 to 2 hours ahead of when you're usually supposed to get there. And we are approaching peak spring break travel. Basically, you're going to see busier airports. And as a result, it has a lot of people This, along with what we're seeing with jet fuel prices, has a lot of people saying, what can we expect in the first quarter from the airlines? And that's why you see the airlines once again trading down anywhere between 5 and 7%. We probably will get some adjustments on Q1 earnings estimates when we start to hear from the CEOs within the next week, week and a half. To what extent remains to be seen. I think largely that's dependent on what happens with jet fuel prices.
I want you to imagine you're heading to the airport for a spring break trip and you get this alert from your airport. Arrive 4 to 5 hours ahead of your flight because of super long TSA lines. That is exactly the post that came out on Sunday from Houston Hobby Airport. That is a huge hub for Southwest Airlines that's bracing for millions of travelers for the spring break rush. 4 to 5 hours is so early that you can't even check a bag that early per Southwest Airlines policies. The problem is the TSA lines are so long because of super short staffing. The issue is that TSA workers are working without pay. They are mandatory workers during this partial government shutdown that primarily targets the Department of Homeland Security. The Transportation Security Administration falls under that. So TSA workers are receiving $0 paychecks right now. And I'm told that many of them simply have to make sacrifices like call out of work to care for their kids because they can't pay for daycare. This is not just a problem in Houston, by the way. This is happening at Louis Armstrong International Airport in New Orleans. In fact, the line there on Sunday stretched so long that it went into a parking garage outside of the airport terminal. Charlotte, also a hotspot. Atlanta Hartsfield-Jackson International Airport, a hotspot, and Houston George Bush Intercontinental Airport, a hotspot. So this is affecting some of the busiest airports in the country, and we're nibbling at the heels of the start of the spring break travel rush. The end of this can't come soon enough if you're one of those folks who has plans to get out.
All right, it is Tuesday morning, specifically 6:15 a.m. Got to show you, this is what's looking like at Hobby Airport, a huge improvement in comparison to yesterday. You saw all the videos, you saw the lines. I mean, it's wrapped around outside in the passenger pickup area right outside, baggage claim. But today, things are moving a lot better. So online, it is showing TSA wait times about 20 to 25 minutes. Yesterday was over 3 hours plus. Some people waited 4 hours. Some people even missed their flight, even waiting after that long. But today it's a lot better. However, do not be fooled. You want to get here early if you're still flying out today. They're still advising at least 3 hours before your flight, just in case the line piles up or some TSA workers do not show up to work because during the partial government shutdown, they aren't getting paid. We'll give you some tips, some travel tips that'll help you plan on KHO11. Stay with us.
For a lot of travelers this week, the longest part of the trip isn't the flight. It's waiting in those long, slow-moving TSA lines.
Get up and get here early.
At Houston's Hobby Airport, those lines have been snaking out the main terminal, down to the baggage claim, and all the way out to the parking garage. The airport is warning TSA wait times could be 3 hours or more.
We tried to allow a little more than 3 hours to get here.
I've been waiting in line for about 2 hours now.
Got nothing else to do but wait. The same story at MSY in New Orleans.
It's long.
And at Hartsfield-Jackson Airport in Atlanta. The TSA's funding expired 3 weeks ago after lawmakers failed to reach an agreement on ICE protocols, triggering a partial Homeland Security shutdown. The White House released a statement blaming Democrats for the shutdown and airport staffing shortages. Does it feel like your industry and the people who work in it right now are the political pawns in this showdown?
Oh, yeah. Every time there's a political battle over whatever the issue might be, they keep coming back to the airlines and, more importantly, the American traveler to kick around, to have some sort of leverage.
During the last government shutdown last fall, TSA officers missed 3 paychecks, then waited a full month for their back pay. This time, they've already missed half a paycheck, and this week, they'll miss another with no end in sight.
Almost every single TSA officer lives paycheck to paycheck. We are here to serve the American people. We just ask that the elected officials in Congress do their job so we can do ours.
Despite the travel hiccups, many passengers say they're keeping their eyes on the prize.
At the end of the day, we're going on vacation. So, you just focus on the positive.
Yeah, vacation sounds pretty good. Okay, so what should you do if you're traveling or if your kid is traveling and they're in college or what have you? The TSA app, I got to tell you, yesterday it said, and it still says it's not being monitored. However, I am getting right now updated wait times at airports nationwide. So go to the TSA app. Separately, go to the airport's app or website, and very often they will list what their delay times are, what their wait times are nationwide. It really is airport specific. You can't say all airports are running 3-hour delays. That's just really not what's happening right now, Craig.
All right. Tom Costello from Reagan National. Tom, thank you.
I'm sorry, y'all. So anyway, I tell you what, it couldn't be me. It couldn't be me. Somebody gonna pay me. Ain't no way I'm dealing with that amount of people on a regular basis in the public. And on top of that, I gotta do it for free. Oh, hell no. Hell no. All right. It couldn't be me. Yeah, I sure wouldn't be there dealing with hundreds of thousands of people like that. And this government won't pay. They could at least try to do something to pay these people. I just think that's rotten. You're saying that this partial government is going to be indefinite and you don't know when it's going to be over. So these folks have to go. How long with no paycheck? So they can't pay their rent. They can't pay their mortgage, car payments, bills. They can't buy food for their family. They can't do nothing. but show up and continue to work for free. Oh, hell, it couldn't be me, y'all. That couldn't be me. That couldn't be me. And it's unrealistic that you got your system set up this way. You know, back in the day, a government job was a big deal because of all its perks. But nowadays, Donald Trump has definitely cheapened the government job. Number one, he'll fire you at a drop of a hat. The government can shut down and you still end up with no money. And he's always looking for ways to screw these workers over. There ain't no way. I would never even consider looking at a government job. I think I would look elsewhere. And some of these people that are going through this, let me tell you something. You'll probably go through it more before Donald Trump is at the end of his term. Nothing is stable with Donald Trump in charge. Nothing. And this is the way it's going to be for the next 4 years. It's going to be very unstable. And man, no, I would not leave my house if I had to deal with hundreds of thousands of people every single day without pay. I wouldn't leave my house. Seriously. But, you know, I feel sorry. You know, a lot of our people from our community are TSA agents. If you ever been through airports, sometimes all of them are melanated. Every last one of them. I have seen that. I've been through airports and seen TSA officers, and it was all of our people. So I do feel for them. It's not right. How are you supposed to put gas in your car to drive to work every day with no pay? You know, I mean, it is unrealistic the way they got this set up. Completely unrealistic. So, y'all, this is all I have on this topic. But if you don't have to go anywhere, stay away from the airport for real. Y'all, thank you so much for being here. Again, thank you, Pensy Lola. Yah bless for your super chat. And y'all, we're going to talk because Donald Trump keeps going in the media lying on the Iranians, saying they're reaching out to him. The Iranians have said more than one time they are not talking to Donald Trump at all. And him and Pete Hegseth are going in the media talking about they're winning the war and they're just lying their asses off. So we're going to be talking about that as well as other topics today. But y'all be safe out here because it is absolutely crazy. It is crazy for real. So have a wonderful afternoon and shalom.